All right, let's get into it. We are about to unpack one of the biggest, most fundamental concepts in all of finance. Seriously, this idea touches everything, from your personal savings to massive corporate decisions. It's called the time value of money. And honestly, understanding it is like getting the ultimate cheat code for making smarter choices with your cash.
So let's kick things off with a question for you. Which one would you pick? Option A, $10,000 right here, right now. Or option B, $11,500, but, and it's a big but, you gotta wait 3 years to get it. Now your gut might be screaming one way or the other, but by the end of this, you'll know for sure, mathematically, which is the better deal.
So, how do you solve that puzzle? Well, the key lies in understanding a really fundamental truth. Money and time are linked. The value of your money isn't some fixed thing, it's constantly changing. So, let's dig into why that is.
And here it is. This is the absolute heart of the entire concept. A dollar in your hand today is way more powerful than a dollar you're promised tomorrow. And this isn't just a feeling or a preference. It's basically a law of finance. And it all comes down to 3 main reasons. First up, opportunity cost. See, money you have now can be put to work, right? You can invest it, let it earn interest, and watch it grow. That dollar could become $1.05 by next year. If you wait a year to get that dollar, you've missed out on that growth. Second, we've got inflation. You know how this works. Over time, stuff just gets more expensive. The purchasing power of your money goes down, which means a dollar today buys you more than a dollar will in the future. And finally, you've got risk. Look, a promise of future cash is just that, a promise. Anything can happen. The money you have right now, that's 100% yours, zero risk.
All right, so we get it. Money's value changes over time. But how do we actually measure that? How do we put a number on it? Well, it turns out there's a really elegant framework for this, a way to move money both forwards and backwards through time.
The best way to think about it is like a time machine for your money, and it's got 2 main settings. The first is compounding, which calculates future value. It pushes your money forward to see what it can grow into. The other setting is discounting, which calculates present value. It pulls future money back to today to see what it's really worth. They're just 2 sides of the exact same coin.
So, future value. This is all about growth. It's the magic of taking a chunk of money, adding in a rate of return over time, and just watching what it blossoms into. This is the engine that drives all of investing. And present value, well, that's all about getting perspective. It lets us make true apples-to-apples comparisons by basically hitting rewind on the effects of time. It answers that one critical question. What is that promise of future cash actually worth to me right this second?
And with that tool, present value, we can finally go back and solve that puzzle from the beginning. We now have exactly what we need to figure out which offer is truly the better one.
So here's how we crack this thing. To find out what option B's future money is worth today, we need what's called a discount rate. It sounds technical, but it's really just the return you think you could reasonably earn on your money if you invested it. So let's be conservative and say you could get a 5% return. When we run the numbers, you can see it right there that $11,500 from 3 years in the future is only worth $9,934 today.
And there it is. The promise of more money later is actually worth less than the $10,000 in your hand today. So taking the cash now is the clear winner. That, right there, is the time value of money in action.
Now, solving puzzles like that is cool and all, but where this idea really changes lives is when we look at how it builds wealth over the long haul. Let's talk about the magic of the compounding snowball.
There's this amazing quote, often attributed to Einstein, that just nails it. Compounding is where you earn returns not just on your original money, but on the returns themselves. It creates this incredible snowball effect that just gets bigger and bigger and bigger over time.
Let's bring this to life with a story about 2 different savers. First, we have our early starter. She invests $5,000 a year for just 10 years, from age 25 to 35, and then stops. She puts in a total of $50,000. Then we have the late starter. He waits until he's 35, but then he invests that same $5,000 every single year for 30 years, all the way to 65. He invests a total of $150,000. So, who do you think ends up with more?
The results are, well, they're pretty mind-blowing. Just look at this chart. The late starter, who, remember, invested 3 times as much money, ends up with over $600,000. That's fantastic. But look at our early starter. By simply giving her smaller investment more time to grow, she ends up with almost $800,000. That's a difference of more than $175,000. Think about that. The early starter won not because she invested more money, but because she invested more time. That is the unbelievable power of compounding.
And this isn't just some abstract theory for retirement. No, this is a practical tool you can use every single day to make smarter choices about your money.
Seriously, once you get this concept, you start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's how your car loan and mortgage are calculated. It's how giant companies decide whether to build a new factory. And it's the key to answering those huge personal finance questions, like whether to take a pension as a lump sum or as a stream of payments for life.
Yeah, let's take a look at that exact question, because it's a massive, high-stakes decision that a lot of people face. Do you take the steady stream of payments for decades, or do you take one giant pile of cash right now?
Well, using our present value tool, we can put these two options head-to-head. If we take all those future $50,000 payments and pull them back to the day's value using a 6% discount rate, they're worth about $639,000. You compare that to the lump sum offer of $650,000, and the choice is pretty clear, isn't it?
And believe me, this isn't just for you and me. Big corporations use this exact same logic, just with a lot more zeros at the end of the numbers, when they're deciding where to pour their money.
They use a metric called net present value, or NPV. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. You calculate the present value of all the future cash your project will generate, and then you just subtract the initial cost. If the number's positive, you're creating value. So looking here, even though Project B costs more to get going, you can see its final NPV, its actual value creation in today's dollars, is way higher. It's the better investment.
So you get it now. You understand this incredibly powerful idea, how to value money across time. It gives you a new lens to look at every financial decision. But the real question, the one that really matters, isn't just about money. It's, what are you going to do with your time?